Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an extremely different video from what I would typically make. This video is definitely going to be on the petty or even toxic side, but that's okay because all will be explained and I think in the end, everyone will enjoy the video. The contents of this video mainly only have to do with a single person, but this person is a fairly infamous person within the very small Battlefield competitive community, which somehow has survived all the way up until Battlefield 2042 and is actually still active. The person I'm referring to is none other than the Battlefield ESL World Champion competitive player, VIII. And I'm sure VIII won't mind me making this video, considering he made a video about one of my teammates out of the blue, essentially openly critiquing his gameplay completely unprovoked. So there really shouldn't be any problem with me making this video. Right, VIII? And the reason I'm making this video is because he's generally just a strange guy. I've really never been able to put my finger on him. And I'm making this video because of some recent comments that he's made that the entire Battlefield community essentially roasted him on, and then he coped himself into a coma. Before I show you guys what started this entire thing, I want to make a slight disclaimer with this. This is, as far as I can tell, a dead serious statement from VIII. This could be considered trolling, maybe he's 3 million IQ, but from the people that I've talked to that have played with him and have generally been around him and have known of him for years, he is apparently a strange man. Let's just put it that way. Okay, with that short disclaimer out of the way and some background established, let's get into the juicy details of why I'm even making this video. Let's go back to May 1st real quick. VIII, who just, for some reason, decided to tweet this absolute banger. Quote, "I'm still the best competitive Battlefield player to ever exist." Now, that statement he could at least argue, because technically he is a world champion, he won ESL 1 Cologne for Battlefield 4, blah blah blah, you know, whatever. You can say that, no one's really gonna care, you can argue that, you can believe that, good for you, right? You're a great competitor, you won tournaments, awesome. Now, it gets a little weird, and I think more than a little weird, on his second statement. Overall, I could potentially be the best FPS player in this world. The only ones to not agree are either haters or have never played against / with me. What's even better is that I'm not a piece of shit and a bully. And the best part of this tweet for me is the fact that, unprovoked, he called me a piece of shit and a bully. He is referring to me as that, by the way, in this tweet. What's even better is I have never interacted with VIII. I don't think I've ever spoken to him. So he tweeted this without me ever talking to him, which means that I have passively tilted him for years because I just existed. And I think that's pretty awesome. Now, naturally, after tweeting something that's ridiculous, you're gonna ruffle some feathers and you're gonna get some backlash, right? And VIII did get a ton of backlash from every single person that essentially came across the tweet at all because it's such a disagreeable and objectively wrong statement. Now, a week later, on May 8th, VIII copes himself into oblivion with another banger tweet. "People disagreeing and disliking me are stuck in NPC mode. Makes me really sad and I wish I could wake them and make them aware. Some can aim and jump, but they're lacking wisdom and consciousness. You need to do a conscious effort to escape your NPC state. Grow up." Now, after this secondary banger tweet from VIII was set to compete in Battlefield 2042 yet again, and he made a 4v4 competitive roster for an upcoming $1,000 tournament. Naturally, if you're going to play in a tournament, you're going to need to practice, and that's exactly what they did, and they scheduled a scrim with a fairly unknown team called LRRP, and this is where things take an embarrassing turn. Going into these fairly routine scrims, I really don't care if VIII's team has never participated in anything competitively in Battlefield 2042. As the self-proclaimed potential greatest FPS player of all time and potential best Battlefield player of all time, you should be winning against any team you play against that you scrim, regardless of your own experience in that game or not, if you are truly the caliber of player you think you are. With that being said, let's take a closer look at the game mode they played during these scrims, just so everyone understands what's going on, and both of the teams, so we get a better understanding of basically what to expect. So the game mode they played was essentially a version of Hardpoint. You have a point that moves across the map, you have to capture and defend the point. First team to 300 points wins the game. Very, very simple. Now, Mayek's team is full of a bunch of PC players that have previous Battlefield competitive experience, most notably Battlefield 4. LRRP, which stands for Long Range Recon Patrol, their players are 3 console players and 1 PC player. And if we take a look at some of their players' setups here, let's take a look at one of them real quick. This is Nasty's setup. He is playing on a 720p TV with apparently no chair, Scarface memorabilia, and if you look very closely under the bottom right-hand corner of the television, there's a baby bottle cap. I am not making this up. This is an actual setup that Nasty sent me. Now, if you take a look at another player's setup, this is Palmetto's setup. Very, very similar. Even got the crushed beer cans directly next to the television. Respect. Respect, Palmetto. Now, needless to say, this is looking like a pretty bad matchup for LRRP. Mayek's team, on paper, should dominate them. But that isn't what happened. Going into the gameplay of these scrims, there are many important details one must pay attention to understand the sheer embarrassment that everyone is about to witness. Notably, listen to the children playing in the background of one of the players' streams as they play in a competitive scrim.
We don't know where to rotate to. They switched up the points. All three.
Multiple times throughout the match, he can be heard asking for smoke on his body because presumably he has to go, I don't know, maybe help his children or something like that.
Let's go. Hey, hit me with a smoke, please. I ran out. Thank you.
So at times during these scrims, even though it's a 4v4, it is actually a 3v4. And to further solidify that point, the player that was streaming these scrims, whose name is It's Texas, his entire job and his entire gameplay was surrounded by sitting on the point and essentially staying alive, which means that it was truly a 3v4 for LRRP. Texas, a lot of the time, wasn't even peeking and participating in the gameplay. This is very atypical for super high-level competitive Battlefield play. You really do want to be shooting at things, but Texas made it work and was basically just the point man for the entire game. And these scrims went on for about an hour and a half. And in that hour and a half, they played 4 matches. Would anyone like to wager a guess how many matches Mayek's team won in the comments section? If you wish, comment that down below, and I'll wait about 2 seconds. Mayek's team lost every single match, and they weren't close. At some points, the ticket deficit between LRRP and Mayek's team was 150 or more, which is absolutely insane for a point-based game mode. And the fights weren't even close as well, even though it was a 3v4, with Texas sitting on the point, essentially just trying to stay alive and very rarely getting a kill or shooting at anyone at all. This is nothing short of the greatest embarrassment in the entire history of competitive Battlefield, ever. And the best part about it is, LRRP had absolutely not a single idea what they've just done. They've just beaten the most egotistical and delusional person in the entire Battlefield competitive scene in the history of Battlefield, and they just treated it like a normal scrim night and went about their day. Now, I found out about these scrims a couple hours after they happened, and I wanted to talk to these guys because I just couldn't believe this actually happened. So I found their Discord, and thankfully, they were all in there after the scrims happened, and they were still playing. So I joined the Discord. They were freaking out because apparently some of them watch me on YouTube, and they're probably watching this video right now, and I simply had to ask them questions. But unfortunately, some of the players have already left. So their community is like a family. this one dude called the other guys that already left that played in the matches to get them back into the Discord to talk to me. And I talked to a player called Palmetto about the matches, and this is what Palmetto had to say. Hey Palmetto, what's up, dude? Thanks so much for sending your setup photo in. If you had to approximate, yeah, just a little guesstimation, how many beers deep were you in during the actual gameplay of the match?
Well, it was probably about 8 to 10, maybe
8 to
11,
10.
12. Probably around that area there.
8 to 10. And would you say the alcohol actually bolsters the gameplay?
Oh, it definitely boosted me up.
Absolutely, because you're fragging out. I saw it.
Oh, I was hitting some shots. I was getting it.
Hell yeah, dude. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this sad yet triumphant tale of a team of underdogs fighting the most egotistical and delusional Battlefield player of all time and coming out on top. This is the story of how a former Battlefield World Champion got 3v4'd by a team of drunk, child-distracted, and potentially high fathers. I have no further words on this subject. If you wish to pay respects to Mayek's ego, press F in the comment section. As far as LRRP, you guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I love all of you. You guys are just so fucking awesome. Seriously. You guys show me so much love when I came in that Discord. Your community is awesome, and I sincerely hope you guys perform well in any upcoming tournaments, and I'm a fan for life. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.